Okay, that's not working. We're not doing TikTok live. Forget TikTok. It's not friendly. We're just sticking to the good old-fashioned stuff that we know and love and trust. You guys, we're going to have an awesome chat about all the Q&As that got sent in, and hopefully some more that you guys will throw at me during the conversation. Dr. Bryant, what's up? Good to see you. Asking any new fun herbs that you're adding into the chocolate soon. Yes, we are coming out with an updated, facelifted version. Excuse me. Ana Blanca, could you get me a glass of water, please? Thank you.
I am your best assistant, my darling.
Ana Blanca is the best. Okay. New herbs in chocolate. We are going to have a facelifted version of our energy chocolate coming. And what's going to be awesome about this is that it's going to have Gynostemma now added to it. So it's going to be Gynostemma, Cordyceps, Astragalus, and Ashwagandha. So a pretty awesome lineup. So yeah, we have new, our whole, you guys maybe noticed this, a few of you maybe not, we're reformulating all of our chocolates actually, and we're kind of filtering in the new ones. So it's actually quite a big leap forward in the innovation. It's something that I've been working on for quite a few years now. So I hope everybody's going to love the new chocolate. So far, people who have had it like it even way more than the one prior. So I'm very optimistic about this. Someone on Instagram asking, when does the new chocolate come out? We're going to be progressively working them in. We still have inventory of the previous formulation that we're selling, which is still awesome. It's just as awesome as it's been for the last 10 years. But as we sell through the last of each one, you'll see the new ones filter in. So the ones of the new version that we have currently available right now are...
Explain what the innovation is?
No, they have to go find it. The ones that we have available of the new formulation right now are the Tranquility and Pure Chocolate. And I think the next one that will filter in will be Energy. So keep an eye on that.
Does he know that we have our chocolate mix?
So Dr. Bryant, we do have our cacao elixir blends that I think are right up the alley of what you're looking for. I created these to try to be just like the hot chocolate that I would drink when I was a kid, when I was skiing with frozen little fingers and would come in at the end of the day and I would have this hot chocolate with my dad at the ski lodge. And I tried to recreate that flavor and the whole warming up the soul from the inside out experience. So if you haven't tried our cacao elixirs, give them a try. I hope everybody would love them.
Some friends who said it is as delicious as Angelica's in Paris, which is a famous hot chocolate.
There we go. We got the Angelica's approval. Oh, Dr. Bryant, they don't have them at Air One, unfortunately, but we do have them on our website. And so, yeah, Air One, they're amazing. They were very supportive of us from the very beginning, but they don't have all of our products there. All right. Okay. So Carlos coming through on YouTube. You're awesome. This guy is one of the most supportive people always in the comments. Is so grateful for your support. You like the growth of our YouTube channel is very much supported by you in the comments and what that does for the algorithm and YouTube wanting to share our stuff with more people. So thank you very much. What herbs would I suggest to keep sugar low and regulated? He's familiar with berberine and gymnema, but are there others that I would recommend? Yeah, berberine, great place to start. That's a really good one. I would also recommend Gynostemma to help with regulation there, and I would also recommend reishi mushroom. And of course, dietary modifications, of course, optimize your sleep and make sure you're getting in lots of exercise, because exercise is also going to help your body at being sensitive to insulin, and the insulin goes up and soaks up that sugar and gets it out of free circulation. Walking Moment says, thoughts on Rhodiola and Gynostemma, also known as Gynostemma. Big fan of both. Rhodiola we don't carry, but Gynostemma we do carry and offer, and I am so proud of it. And I'm going to hype it up a little bit because this is one that a lot of other companies have it where it has a pretty bitter aftertaste to it. Ours tastes so good. Ana Blanca loves it as well. It's like you just put this with hot water and it's awesome, just like that. So
that's favorite when it comes over.
Yeah, yep, that's right. And so Gynostemma, big fan. Rhodiola, amazing for getting more oxygen to the brain, improving energy and focus. I can't consume it regularly because of a certain gene that I have called COMT++, but when I do consume it, because of that gene, it gets me really buzzed. But it can have a bit of a drop off in the days following. But for most people, rhodiola is spectacular, great energy and focus enhancing adaptogen.
Are you interested ever carrying rhodiola?
Probably. It's one I've been contemplating coming out with for a while. So
okay.
Maybe in the not too distant future, we see that one coming. We got another question here saying, what are the benefits of pure chocolate? I usually get the beauty chocolate. Pure is really focused on the pure cacao there. So the benefits of cacao in terms of prebiotic fibers for gut health, in terms of magnesium, chromium, iron, zinc, antioxidants, that's what you're getting there. We wanted to make a chocolate that is for a certain group of people. People who don't want to get involved in the herbs, who are not interested in them, or maybe they're pregnant or breastfeeding when you shouldn't be having these herbs to be on the ultra safe side. And so that's what that chocolate was created for. And
Very young children.
And yeah, also like young children who you want to give them lots of chocolate and have fun, but you don't want to overdose them on the herbs. And then the Tranquility chocolate is about being peaceful and relaxed. And it's not a sedative. It's not going to put you to sleep. But if you're having it in the evening, it's a nice nightcap of a chocolate with the reishi and the hoshiwu and the ashwagandha in there. And it's for this modern world that we live in, where we're all bombarded by too much stress. Okay, we got a question. Any chocolate good for spring allergies? Yes, I would say definitely go for the immunity chocolate first, because that's everything in there focused on balancing immune health, not overstimulating it, not depressing it too much and suppressing it, but having it in a really nice, balanced, functioning place. You'll see reishi mushroom in there, which is my absolute favorite in this regard. And you'll also find that in our Tranquility chocolate as well. So not a bad combo. Yeah, chocolate. Well, that's in the immunity chocolate. Yeah. But for regulation, if I was to pick just one, I would certainly be picking reishi. Yep. All right. Seeing some amazing names popping up here. So good to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining. Carlos asking, tell me more about this Roselle hibiscus, if you don't mind. I've used hibiscus tea before, but what can I expect from this one in particular? So yeah, this is a super potent variety of hibiscus grown in Thailand. And there are different varieties that are actually grown in Thailand. There are some that are bigger and produce greater yields, but there is this variety that we use based heavily on where it's grown and the genetics of it that is more potent in terms of its health benefits, even though the components that are used are smaller, so you don't get as much of a yield. And so that's that. And with the Roselle, you have benefits for the biggest is blood pressure. And then you also get a number of other benefits for it in terms of hydration, kidney health, and it's super refreshing, very hydrating. And Ana Blanca wants to add weight loss. I don't think about that one that much, but it's certainly a benefit of it as well. Yeah, it helps upregulating fat metabolism. So whether that's digesting fats or burning the fat that you happen to be carrying around on your system.
You accidentally jumped over walking moments is asking. Best to reduce muscle stiffness, soreness, and stiff joints.
I didn't intentionally skip over you. I'm just trying to bounce back and forth between YouTube and Instagram.
Here,
Thank you.
Go on.
Okay. So muscle stiffness, soreness, and stiff joints. Herb-wise, I would go for Eucomia. This is the best when it comes to strength and integrity of muscles and tendons and ligaments. Then I would also consider on the supplement side, magnesium and MSM, methylsulfonylmethane, which is great in that way as well. It's like yoga in a pill in terms of what it does for your connective tissues.
How about the systemic enzymes maybe?
Ana Blanca would also like to pitch in the idea of systemic enzymes there. If it's a scar tissue related thing, yeah, I would also say systemic enzymes because you want something like serrapeptase or nattokinase that's going to go in there and help eat up that scar tissue. All right, now
I'm on the website right now, and I didn't know that you have caramel elixir.
Yeah, Dr. Bryant, I really hope you love the elixirs. I'm excited for you to try them.
We actually have 4. If you're talking about elixirs, could you introduce the 4?
Okay, 4 elixirs, just to make sure everyone's familiar with them. We have the caramel elixir, the cacao elixir, matcha, and chai. And these all have their own little cult followings. Everybody's going to have what their flavor and variety of choices there, and just get into whichever one you like. And they have big doses in there of different adaptogens, things like tremella, lion's mane, astragalus, reishi. So it's a way to, my idea with those is to create an old school Air One tonic bar, sugar-free, creamy, amazing, delicious herbal elixir in a way that's foolproof and easy for anyone to do at home. Danielle, hey, how are you doing? So good to see you. What's up, everybody? So good to connect with everybody. It's been so long since we've done a live. Kate is asking, any good for autism? Autism has so many different things at its root. There can be damage from heavy metals. There can be chaos in the gut microbiome. There can be autoimmune stuff going on there. And so you need someone to work with you a little bit more closely and figure out what's going on at the root there and what the biggest driving factors in one's particular case is. If we're talking about gut health, things like lion's mane and reishi mushroom are great there. And then I would also say, think about spore-based probiotics, and then look at gentle ways to detoxify heavy metals. And that can be a good start that can push things in a positive direction. All right. Why is it so expensive to ship to Canada? And a sad crying face. I love your Shazandra and Tremella. Okay. Canadian shipping. I so much wish that it was easier. And we do have a number of our products on Amazon Prime in Canada to make it easy for you so you don't have to ship from the US. Shipping to Amazon Canada, or shipping to you, to individuals in Canada, we have to either go via FedEx, UPS, or USPS. USPS, they're slow and their rates are super high. Doesn't work. UPS, really good rates, moderate speed. Problem is that they will get a bill from customs when the shipment goes through customs in Canada. That's like a $4 or $5 bill. And then they will charge you on top of that $25 or $30 for the service of getting it cleared through customs. So we were having problems with that, where somebody would pay $16 for a shipping of an order to Canada, all felt and looked great, and the order would get to Canada and they would get a $30 or $40 bill on top of it from UPS. So we had to stop offering that because people were getting really upset. The other option being FedEx, who offers spectacular speed. It's usually next day to Canada, but for smaller orders with FedEx to Canada, it's a little bit pricier on the shipping. So try to at least check on Amazon Canada, and a lot of our things you can find on there. Unfortunately, not the chocolate, but maybe pair up with a few friends if they're interested as well. You can put together an order, and if it's a bigger order, the amount of shipping relative to the products that you're ordering tends not to be so much.
I wish it was easier since I
Ana Blanca's family lives there. I know. I think we should set up your sister as our Canadian shipping hub sometimes, or maybe just for the holidays, set up a Canadian shipping hub when she finds the free time. Yeah. All right. So I promised that people who sent in their questions were going to have priority, and I kind of dropped the ball on that because I got so excited to see all of you guys joining here. So I'm going to mix in some of those questions too and make sure everybody is feeling the love. All right. So there was a question that came in that said, how can we best combine adaptogens throughout the day? What are the best combos? What's best for absorption? And so here you have to figure out what's going to fit into your lifestyle and your routine. For some people, like Ana Blanca, it makes sense to get it all done at once and have a massive herbal tonic in the morning. Her mug is as big as her head. And she does it often in a coffee base with some healthy fats in there, MCT oil, grass-fed ghee, and she puts lots of whipped cream on top, she wants you to know. And that's it. She loads that thing up with adaptogens, and that's her one adaptogen experience for the day. But maybe you want to split it up into a few different beverages. And so you want to start the day off, say you want to have some more energy. So you put astragalus and ashwagandha and cordyceps in there. Or maybe your life is more on the stressful side. So you want to emphasize things like reishi and holy basil. Or maybe you're a woman and you want to really be thinking about your breast health. And so you decide to put in there a lot of turkey tail mushroom. Ana Blanca is a huge fan of turkey tail. My mom is a huge fan of turkey tail. It's a great tasting herb and such an important herb for women. She says, I don't know. Let me know. Can you guys hear Ana Blanca when she pipes in the background? I'm not sure if she's too far away. Let me know.
Sorry, I'm interrupting a lot. But
let me know if you can hear Ana Blanca when she puts in her 2 cents. Because then I won't bother to repeat and make you hear it all twice.
That's my one non-negotiable of the day, turkey tail.
Okay, they say they can hear you, so I won't repeat.
I really love turkey tail because it has saved my butt because of my genetics. So, really good product. And they have the very good tasting one.
So then, maybe you like to have a little pick-me-up in the afternoons. And so that maybe could be where you have turkey tail on its own. Or perhaps in the afternoons, you could make a drink with blue butterfly and schizandra in a base of lemon water with a little bit of sweetener of your choice. And you could even put our new Roselle hibiscus powder in there to plug our new product. Or Gynostemma, which we talked about a little bit earlier, makes a great, refreshing afternoon drink. So Gynostemma is just on its own afternoon, hot or cold. We're getting into warmer months, so maybe you want it room temperature or cold. In the winter, warm as an afternoon thing to warm up is so nice.
Mention what you do with it.
What I do with it, I just have it on its own most often.
Astragalus, you like it?
We're talking about Roselle?
Oh, Roselle.
I was talking about Gynostemma.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, so Roselle, I love Roselle combined with the Astragalus. Amazing flavor together and a great also little afternoon energy drink for me. And then if you're working out at some point during the day, you might want to make yourself a pre-workout type of drink. So maybe that looks like Cordyceps, black ginger. Maybe you're going to put in there Astragalus. And then in the evening, maybe it's time for, we got Ana Blanca, your mom is calling. Hang on, let me put this on Do Not Disturb.
Yes, please.
Hold on. All right. Okay. Excuse me, guys. And so we're talking about a pre-workout. You look at astragalus, ashwagandha, black ginger, cordyceps, and then you do that, and like 30 minutes to an hour later, you're ready to rock and roll for an awesome workout. Evening drink, I would say look at reishi mushroom, ashwagandha, and I like to do those in a few ounces of warm water as my nightcap. Lion's mane is also a really nice addition to that evening drink, so you can put that one in there. Susie asks for which products can provide support for extreme PMS discomfort. First step, get your hormones tested. If you're having extreme PMS discomfort, your hormones are unfortunately probably kind of in a mess, and you need to understand exactly where they're at to know the right strategic steps to take to improve them, because otherwise you're working a little bit blind. But you can think about herbs like ashwagandha, shatavari, gelatinized maca that are generally adaptogenic when it comes to their effects on your hormones, and find a good doctor to work through these hormone tests with you who has a really holistic perspective on it and can provide you the right guidance. Ana Blanca?
Postmenopausal, not premenstrual.
Oh, look at me. I read too fast.
But it's very similar.
Postmenopausal discomfort. Explain more, please. Are we talking about hot flashes or?
You have like less energy.
Well, there's two ways to go, right? There's one way, which is you're just transitioning naturally into the stage of life without hormones, or you work with a doctor who's really specializing in bioidentical hormone treatment. If you're doing that, it's great, but you got to work with somebody who tests how those hormones are being metabolized in your body. Because, and I can say this from not firsthand, but my own family experience, if you're just being packed with hormones, certain things can be metabolized because of your genetics in a way that creates lots of risk for things like breast cancer, and left unmoderated can ruin you. But if you really keep an eye on it, and you're having all the testing done to see how these hormones are being metabolized, not just how much estrogen and progesterone you have, but also what metabolites of those are being broken down into, this is going to be a big deal for making sure you're keeping it safe. Question coming in here on YouTube from the Peanut Gallery, which is actually their name. How can we ensure that our body is absorbing the powders, that we aren't just peeing them out, since many are water soluble? Yeah, they're water soluble, but if your digestion's halfway decent, these are going to absorb really quite easily. They're not just going to cycle through your body and come out the other end. One thing you're going to see is you should see some actual effects from them after taking them for any meaningful amount of time. And then the other factor is, if you're concerned that you're not absorbing things, work on improving your digestive health. Maybe you need to take digestive enzymes. Maybe you need to take betaine HCl. Maybe you want to take digestive bitters before you eat and consume things, so that you're getting the most out of what you're putting into your body. The next question that was pre-sent in and is thoughts about ozone therapy. So when we talk about ozone therapy here, this is where you're introducing O3 into the body. And the most common ways this is done is through IV ozone and rectal insufflation. And so This leads to improved oxygen utilization. It has, of course, antibacterial and antiviral properties to it. It's certainly going to be stimulating the immune system. It's supporting detoxification and reducing pain and inflammation in the system. And there's also some theories and some indications that it could cause a proliferation of stem cells. So very positive, can help in a lot of cases. It's not something that everybody needs to go and do immediately, but it's a great thing to have in your toolkit, or something to know that it exists out there that you could turn to doing. And then a separate question from a different person that came in asking, what do you think about extracorporeal blood oxygenation and ozonation? This is called EBOO. And this is like IV ozone, but in addition to putting ozone into the blood, you're also putting oxygen with it. And the upside here is that you can treat a larger volume of blood. So you get more immediate and more significant systemic effects throughout the body. And you also get more control this way over the amount of ozone going into the system. So you can make sure you're doing it more safely and not overdoing it, because ozone in excess can potentially have an oxidizing effect and can create oxidative stress in the body. And so it's safer, it's more controlled, but this all comes at a price. It's substantially more expensive than regular IV ozone. So you have to balance it there. And whether it's IV ozone or EBOO, we're talking about a medical procedure here. So don't do it just because you heard me talking about it. Do it because you've consulted with a medical professional who is in-depth familiar with you and what's going on with you, and can advise you on whether or not it's the right fit. We have somebody saying they enjoyed the videos on YouTube and learned about Thai black ginger. Awesome. I'm glad you've enjoyed them. Glad you've connected with us here as well. Black ginger, I think, is one of the most underrated herbs in the world with so many incredible benefits. And I love sharing it with everybody. All right. Next question on the list. Okay. So Kate, you're looking for dark chocolate bars for sweets. Okay. I don't know if you, I think you're familiar with our company, and this is what we do. It's our primary thing. I hope you like our chocolates, and I hope they'll do the trick for you. If you haven't tried them before, and you don't know that we're a chocolate company, that's our thing. So Adrian says, hello from Michigan. I would love to try your chocolates, but I'm not a fan of stevia. Okay, you guys are forcing me to reveal the new recipe updates. I wanted to give it a little bit of a surprise, but okay, for the time being, go check out our Tranquility and our Pure chocolates. We're transitioning our recipe, and it's no longer going to be sweetened with stevia. It's going to be sweetened with a combination of organic allulose and organic monk fruit. So Adrian, it's your lucky day. We're going to be filtering this in across our whole line, but at the moment you can get Pure chocolate and Tranquility chocolate with the new formulation.
I just would like to chime in how proud I am of my man, because he is always ahead of the trends. He makes the trend.
I worked on this new formulation, you guys. I looked back in my emails and to find like when I first started ordering samples from different suppliers of ingredients to use for this. It was 2019. This has been 5 years in the making, this new formulation. Half the age of our company, but I think I really nailed it. People who have tried it so far have been pumped and really enjoying it.
It's creamy. It's so good.
Will we ever offer Cordyceps, black ant, or pine pollen? We do offer 2 of those 3. We do offer Cordyceps and we do offer pine pollen in our line. Black ant, we have an amazing source for. We have a big container of it here at home in terms of Polyrachis ant. I may have been a little bit, Ana Blanca has it every morning. I may have been a little bit afraid of the marauding gangs of vegans who might come for me if I come out with that. But maybe one day, we'll see. Carlos says, monk fruit for the win. Glad it wasn't erythritol. Yeah, erythritol can be good, can be bad, but we've gone with monk fruit and allulose as I think the 2 optimal, given everything that we have available. Somebody says, if I eat a kilo of your chocolates during the April 8th eclipse, is it possible I ascend to heaven? Yes. You could die and ascend to heaven. I wouldn't recommend eating a kilo of chocolate at once. Everything, I talk about this in so many regards. People say, is it possible to have too much chocolate? Can I have too much time in an infrared sauna? Can I get too much this, too much that? everything is about the right dose. Even something as innocuous as water. If you drink 10 gallons of water in a day, you're not going to feel so great. But everyone would agree that water is good for you. Same can be said for UV light, right? Just the right amount, you get great benefits. Vitamin D, circadian rhythm, all this. If you're in the sun all day with no sun protection, okay, now you have skin cancer. So it's all a matter of the right dose for everything. Okay, the next question is, how do you know if you are or are becoming insulin resistant? Any tips for reversing it? Yes, so some signs to start looking for are if you have high fasting blood glucose, if you have high blood pressure, if you have excess abdominal fat, high triglycerides, low HDL, and fatigue. If you have PCOS, it's another indication. If you've tested and your insulin levels are high, it's probably because your body's not reacting to the insulin, aka insulin resistant. So your body's producing a bunch more just to try to get the same job done. And so what are you going to do? Of course, you want to limit sugar, limit refined carbs, build an overall healthy gut microbiome, and get plenty of healthy fats and proteins. So building an overall supportive diet of all health. Then exercise can significantly improve insulin sensitivity, especially weight training, weight resistance training. And optimizing sleep health is going to be hugely impactful here, and improving your overall stress resilience. You can do this via yoga, exercise, meditation, time in nature, the breathing practices, coitus, taking reishi mushroom, hoshu wu, ashwagandha, holy basil, magnesium glycinate, magnesium L-threonate. Many ways to do it. You don't have to do all, but figure out as many of those that you can work into your life, and hopefully that helps you out on the stress front. Because look, I'm not going to tell you stop stressing. That's how you get somebody to smack you in the face, right? I'm just saying we're in a world where our stressors are not diminishing, so we better become more resilient to them. All right, next question. And guys, if you're just joining, feel free to send in questions as we go. Have you considered selling more aphrodisiacs for men in the future? Yes, absolutely. Our big one right now in that department is black ginger. I think Sustanch is going to be another one coming in the not too distant future. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys are watching and would be interested in more aphrodisiacs or interested in Sustanch, send in a comment right now. Let me know. Cheer me on to want to come out with a new product sooner rather than later. Yeah, we have it. We just have to say, let's do it. Get the labels, start packing it up. And there we go.
Glad it wasn't that triple.
Yeah. I already responded to him on that one. Okay. What's my current favorite thing to take or eat these days? Ooh. So Anna made an organic, as healthy as possible version of this classic Hungarian delicacy street food, langos, the other day, and I ate too much of it. So she's saying langos. But I would say I've been having a lot of Gynostemma recently. It's a fantastic one. And somebody else just asked, what's your favorite lung tonic? Gynostemma, amazing lung tonic. As a tied for first place, I would also say astragalus. All right. So next question that was sent in ahead of time. Any suggested herbs for PCOS to combat or manage weight gain and insulin resistance? If you're dealing with PCOS, you first have to ask the question, what's causing the PCOS? Because there can be a couple big causative factors. So is it insulin resistance? Like we were just talking about a minute ago. Is it inflammation? Is it synthetic hormones that you're consuming? So the first step here is going to be overall hormone restoration. So you want to clean up your diet, make sure you're getting enough rest, exercise a good amount, but not too much, because too much exercise, especially chronic cardio, like if you're just running for 60 minutes every day, it's actually not supportive of your endocrine system. And avoid endocrine disruptors, whether that's in personal care products, plastics, etc. Be really mindful of that. And then supplement-wise, look at things like inositol, vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, long-chain omega-3s, and acetylcysteine, and avoid sugar, dairy, processed foods in general, probiotics, prebiotics, fermented foods, really great, fish oil or krill oil for those long-chain omega-3s. So then like the last pieces of it would be in support of hormone balance, make sure you're getting really good sleep. There's no health condition that won't react positively to improving sleep. So that's always going to be a part of the conversation. Tips for eliminating psoriasis. Bring down systemic inflammation. So that can happen with very potent, easily absorbed turmeric extracts. That can happen with molecular hydrogen. That can happen by cutting out inflammatory foods in your diet and improving your sleep. It can happen through working on the gut microbiome, through taking really great spore-based probiotics, through taking powerful prebiotics to feed the gut, through consuming grass-fed ghee for the butyrate that helps to fuel the bacteria in your gut and help build that gut lining, through taking supplements like Ion Biome, which also helps to seal up the gut lining and prevent leaky gut, because there's a big tie between elevated intestinal permeability and inflammatory skin conditions like psoriasis, unfortunately. Okay. Everyone keeps talking about Gynostemma nowadays. Would you say it's better than Panax Ginseng? So funny you should say that. One of the nicknames of Gynostemma, going back a long time, is ginseng for a tea price, because with ginseng you have a great source of saponins called ginsenosides that are the active compounds in Gynostemma. You have 36 of them, if memory serves correctly. Then in Gynostemma, you have the highest source of saponins in the world in terms of the most saponins, 96. And so these are called gepenosides, and they're very similar to what you find in ginseng. So you're able to get a lot of overlapping benefits with ginseng in a way that the sourcing is easier to trust a lot of the time. There's a lot of nefarious sourcing that goes on with ginseng that's supplied to the US. Like North Korean red ginseng is the most potent ginseng in the world, but almost all of it that's sold in the US is actually counterfeit. Danielle, the name of the Biome product I mentioned is called Ion, I-O-N, Biome, made by Zach Bush's company, who's an absolute legend. Are Gynostemma and Cordyceps better? No, are Gynostemma and Astragalus better than Cordyceps? I think you're referring to as a lung tonic. No, they're right up there. I'm going to have to say, thank you for reminding me about Cordyceps in that department. I'm going to have to say three-way tie for those as lung tonics. They're all really good. What type of water do I drink? We are very fortunate to have spring water delivered that we use for our drinking water, and then we also have a great under-counter filtration system just over there. So mostly what I'm drinking is spring water from Alive Water. All right, going back to the questions over here. Let's see. How would you say how high would you say your HRV should be, and how do you improve your HRV? So HRV, just to clarify here, we are talking about heart rate variability, not the other HRV, which is human rhinovirus, which you do not want to elevate. Human rhinovirus is not our friend. Okay, so HRV is the variation in time between each heartbeat. And this is interpreted as being a reflection of the balance and healthy activity of the autonomic nervous system. Now, a lot of people want to know, like, okay, should I try to hit 30? Should I try to hit 50? Should I try to hit 100 or 200? And they see people posting screenshots of their HRV on Instagram or wherever, and they think, oh, mine is not that high. Am I unhealthy? I thought I was healthier than this person, but they got a massive HRV score and mine's maybe lower. The thing is, it's not something you can compare so easily across people because of individual genetics. Your HRV may tend to be higher or lower. You just want it to be higher than your own. So ignore everybody else's HRV and just work on from wherever yours is at, try to get it higher. And don't try so hard that you end up causing yourself more stress, because that stress is just going to bring that HRV right back down. So what can you do to work on improving HRV? Exercise, meditation, yoga, breath work, optimize your sleep health, have an overall healthy diet, avoid alcohol and smoking, use the sauna, use a cold plunge, optimize your overall hormone health, and consume adaptogens. That's, bringing your nervous system into a healthy and balanced place is what adaptogens are all about. Okay, somebody is asking, I've been taking your black ginger over a year now, and it's been helping me. Awesome. What do you have for sleep? And what is good for blood flow? So for sleep, from our products, I would say reishi, ashwagandha, and lion's mane are the top three. Also, outside of our product range, you can have a teaspoon of raw honey. That helps to keep your blood sugar really nicely balanced over the night so you don't wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning. Then also, I would say magnesium L-threonate, which is a form of magnesium that's the most efficient at crossing the blood-brain barrier and actually raising brain levels of magnesium. So you can see how that is going to be very nicely relaxing. And then you can get into other like breath work and meditation, yoga nidra, for optimizing sleep, and also I would say long chain omega-3s, whether it's fish oil, krill oil, or algae oil. The one I mentioned not to wake up at 3 or 4 in the night is to take a teaspoon or 2 of raw honey, ideally local honey, because it's going to benefit your immune system more. And people would think, oh, it's going to shoot my blood sugar up, it's going to come back down, and then I'm going to have low blood sugar later in the night. Weirdly, it doesn't. Honey is magical in some ways, like the way it never goes bad, and the way it can't be dehydrated. It's the only liquid sugar form that you can't dehydrate honey. It just stays there. It has moisture, a lot of moisture in it. The moisture won't leave. Anyways, so when people have honey before going to sleep, it keeps the blood sugar super balanced at night. It's also, one example was my aunt. We were looking at some of her stuff, and she was getting really into genetic testing, and she was talking about how she was wearing a continuous glucose monitor and always had this dip later in the night, and it woke her up. I said, take the raw honey. And she's like, nah, I mean, is that going to work? It doesn't seem like, I can't really, how's that going to make a difference? Believe it or not, a couple days later, she contacted me and said, yeah, it totally worked. This is amazing. I am sleeping all the way through the night, not waking up anymore. And look, here's the chart for my continuous glucose monitor. My blood sugar was just level. The question coming in now is, which is better, theanine or threonate? So actually totally different. One is L-theanine extract from green tea. The other is magnesium L-threonate. Even though they have the TH and some E's and O's and A's going on in there in common, they're actually completely different. You have to try and see what's going to work better for you. A lot of people do find that L-theanine helps them with stress and with sleep. For me, this is just my N of 1, L-theanine gives me really sad dreams. Bizarre, I don't know, I don't get them unless I'm taking L-theanine. So for me, I stick to magnesium L-threonate and some of this other stuff we talked about. But a lot of people do get benefits from L-theanine. So I think when you're sharing information, you always have to be careful not to take whatever weird, unique thing happens to you and project it across all of society, because obviously people very commonly get really good benefits from L-theanine. Okay, guys, keep sending in your questions. So great to see all of you popping in. Send any questions this way. I'm super pumped to be here with you all. We're having a really good time. Okay, so to that last question, the guy was asking what's good for sleep, but he was also asking what's good for blood flow. He found us through black ginger, so naturally blood flow is a big priority for the gentleman, which is great, but also really good for women too, because for female overall health and female romantic sensitivity, blood flow is a big deal. So black ginger, of course, is a phosphodiesterase inhibitor, so opens up the blood flow in a big way. Also think about improving nitric oxide through things like beets, fatty fish, pomegranates, leafy greens, consuming berries and citrus. In terms of supplements, you could look at L-arginine and L-citrulline. If you're taking those, make sure you also take lysine to offset the fact that arginine and citrulline can raise your vulnerability to viruses a little bit. And lysine has the opposite effect, so it helps to counterbalance. And then omega-3s, CoQ10 can be really helpful for blood flow, and nattokinase, which is a systemic enzyme. And, just make sure you're covering the basics, of course, too. Make sure you're staying well hydrated, exercising, limiting sugar, and avoiding smoking. Smoking actually is pretty disastrous for healthy circulation. All right, welcome everybody. So good to see you guys all dropping in. This will be replayed later. We'll be able to find it on our YouTube channel, and we'll put timestamps so you can go through and find everything. But so glad that you guys are here live, because just sitting on my own in a room without all you guys hanging out with me is not nearly as fun. Okay, what's the best form of magnesium to take? So I have 3 favorite forms of magnesium. If you're going for relaxation and overall mitochondrial health and energy production, I would say I would go with magnesium glycinate because that's paired with glycine, which on its own is also very calming, very supportive of sleep. This is a form of magnesium that doesn't make you have to go to the bathroom. So it's very gentle in digestion, very well absorbed. And so it's going to get a lot of magnesium gently into your system. Then, if you're dealing with constipation, I would go with magnesium citrate. This helps to pull water into the large intestine, which helps you to have really nice bowel movements, but it also does cross the brain barrier. It also does improve systemic magnesium levels. So if you tend towards stress, go glycinate. If you tend towards constipation, go with citrate. And then if your focus is brain health and I would say sleep as well, and just calming down your whole nervous system, also good to think about magnesium L-threonate. Can I recommend a brand for nattokinase? So with systemic enzymes, a key thing is you want to take them away from food. And that's because they're very easily then used by the digestive process if you take them with food, and they can get damaged. So you want to take them on an empty stomach with lots of water. And it's good to look for ones that are enteric coated. This is an extra layer of protection that can help make sure they don't get damaged before they get to where they need to go. So the company Doctor's Best actually makes a really nice nattokinase, which is enteric coated. So I would check that one out. Okay, got a couple more questions that were sent in earlier, and then if you guys have questions, we'll be here for a couple more minutes. So send them in now. Don't wait any longer. Probiotic brands I recommend, Just Thrive and Megaspore are my two favorites. They're pretty similar formulation. They're actually made by the same manufacturer. And okay, next question, is caffeine good or bad? So caffeine depends on your genetics and depends when you're consuming it. So people have different genetics in terms of being a fast or slow caffeine metabolizer. If you're a fast caffeine metabolizer, then you can have more caffeine because it's going to go in and out of your system real fast. If you're a medium, that's like you're just halfway. And then if you're a slow caffeine metabolizer, like me, caffeine will have an extreme effect on you and it will stay active in your system for a long time. That's one side of it. So if you're a slow caffeine metabolizer, don't overdo it because it's going to have a big effect. But also, it affects other genes. So if you have the plus version of the COMT gene, caffeine will skyrocket your dopamine and make you feel on top of the world temporarily. But then you'll run the risk of long-term stressing out your nervous system and these catecholamines becoming nervous system irritants and raising risk of long-term mental health problems. On the other hand, if you're COMT minus, you don't have much dopamine going on, so the boost in dopamine that will come from consuming caffeine can actually be really beneficial. Then time of day is really important because caffeine has a pretty long half-life. That half-life depends on whether you're a slow or fast caffeine metabolizer. But as an overall rule across the population, try to cut it off at 2 p.m. so that it doesn't interfere with your ability to get good sleep the next night. Best supplements and herbs for energy. So on the herbal side, I would say astragalus, cordyceps, ashwagandha, rhodiola, Siberian ginseng, gynostemma. These are all my favorites here that are going to improve your body's own energy production methods. It's not like caffeine where it's kind of forcing you to release energy from your reserves and pull from your savings account of energy. Here, this is something that is going to help your body make more energy. So it's like you can, this is not the perfect metaphor, but they say you can give a man a fish or teach a man to fish. These herbs are teaching a man to fish, whereas caffeine is telling a man to take money out of his savings account and buy a fish from you. How about that? Okay. And then for the energy supplement side of things, I would say if you're in the first half of life, CoQ10. If you're later in life, ubiquinol, because, oh, sorry, I listed them too fast. Okay, rewind. We will have these on YouTube later, so you can always rewatch.
Just keep talking.
So herbs, astragalus, cordyceps, ashwagandha, rhodiola, Siberian ginseng, and gynostemma would be all my top energy adaptogens.
Astragalus, cordyceps, ashwagandha, rhodiola.
Yeah. I said Siberian ginseng. Did you get that one?
Yeah.
Gynostemma?
Yeah.
Where are you posting them, on YouTube or Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
Okay. Danielle, you said we need a transcriber in here. You just got a transcriber named Ana Blanca.
Cordyceps, ashwagandha, rhodiola, Siberian ginseng.
Gynostemma?
Okay.
Okay. Supplements for energy. So if you're in the first half of life, CoQ10, because you can convert that to ubiquinol pretty easily. As you get a bit older in the second half of life, I would say go to ubiquinol because you're not as good at converting CoQ10 to ubiquinol as you age. Then also magnesium, which you mentioned earlier, is going to be really good for supporting your mitochondria. Long chain omega-3s, great mitochondrial food. And then you could look at things that are going to boost your NAD. And so here, big NAD precursors are things like NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, and NR, nicotinamide riboside. There's competing theories on which is better. They're both pretty awesome. And so we'll have to see them duke it out with each other for a few more years to determine one is the king, but they're like this. There's no point in getting caught up in this one's better than that. They're both just awesome. Okay, so I have my last question now coming up from what was sent in. This means you guys have about 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute, depending on how fast I talk or if I can slow down.
Nattokinase?
Yeah, I recommended the brand. That was Doctor's Best for the enteric coated. So the best source is to get chlorophyll into your system. And if you have any more questions, now's the moment. So in terms of getting chlorophyll in from whole food sources, I would say chlorella, number one. Chlorella is the highest food source of chlorophyll, 10%, dramatically higher than anything else out there. One of the next best ones is going to be spirulina, which is cool because it's a blue-green algae. And you also get the phycocyanin in there. And spirulina's honor is that it's the highest natural source of protein of any whole food, 65 to 71% protein by weight. And then you could take something like a chloroxygen, a liquid chlorophyll type of product. Look for a chlorophyll that is not going to have too many suspicious other ingredients added to it. Try to keep it really pure without too much other added stuff. Okay, guys, that's it. That was the last question for now. You guys are amazing. Thanks for joining. This has been tons of fun, and we will definitely do it again very soon. Oh, Ana Blanca has something more to say?
I would like a vote on which day is the best and what time is the best for lives.
Okay, we'll post a poll in our Instagram stories to see when is the best for you guys to attend, because this is no fun without you guys here. So when we do it again, I want to make sure that you're all here for it. All right, have a great night, everybody, and look forward to seeing you all again soon.